What's going on, y'all? I'm back again. Oh, y'all like, goddamn. Okay, Catfish. Let me tell you something. These 2 episodes a night, you gotta stop that shit. Don't you ever come back with 2 episodes like that. It is just too much on a Wednesday night right about now. But this is the Catfish uh, season 5, episode 13, I believe. Lucas and Jamie. But it's a continuation of the season. I really hate when they do this because I literally just remembered that Catfish wasn't coming on like it was supposed to. I thought that was the season finale a while ago and didn't even think nothing of it, but I guess not. But anyway, so we back with some new Catfish, and this episode was actually interesting a little bit. It was still fucked up, the still same old shit, but it was still kind of interesting. Um, this girl Jamie, she reaches out to Max and Eve because she knows that she's being catfished, but she's trying to find out who this catfisher is, okay? And basically she was a former Playboy model, she's a stripper, she has kids. She met this guy named Lucas on Tinder, okay? And she got all, lovey-dovey with him. He don't live in where she lives at. She lives in Portland. He said he lives somewhere else, and then all of a sudden, when they start talking and they get talking some more, relationship gets a little bit deeper, feelings get involved. All of a sudden, he get this opportunity to move out there to Portland. He said he's gonna move out there to Portland, January 5th, and then he's gonna come see her. So this time comes and he doesn't come. All of a sudden is I'm swamped, I'm sorry, I can't do this and I can't do that. All the excuses in the book. So, as she told Max and Eve, one drunk night she went, came back in, her girlfriends was talking or whatever, and they was like, I don't believe that your dude is real, okay? I think he catfishing you. Let's do a Google image search. And that's exactly what they did. And they found out who the real picture was. Okay, fine. So they contacted the Lucas guy and said, look, we know you're not real. If you really real, send us this picture with your finger up in the paper, holding our names on it, our names written on it. And that's exactly what he sent. Girl, I said Photoshop is a beast these days. And he was good with it because girl showed them the picture of him holding the card, right? And then she showed him another picture, the original picture, minus the card. I said, look at this shit. Then, sending Snapchats and stuff to the other girls. As if he was walking. Basically, all you have to do is download this video. That's how they do, like when they post on the Shade Room or somebody post somebody's Snapchat on Twitter or whatever. It's a third party app where you gotta find a third party app in order to download the Snapchat and then upload it like any other video. So that's basically what he was doing. And so I'm like, at least you know that, you've been talking to a catfish. And I'm sitting here like, girl, you should have been more careful. You on a dating app like Tinder. Most of these people play games anyway, you know? And you mean to tell me you couldn't get nobody that was in your area? Don't tend to do by the people that's around you. So what was the problem? You just did it by looks or whatever. But anyway, Jamie go through this little side story. She wanted somebody that's not gonna judge her for doing this and dancing and all that stuff. Woo 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 woo. Cause she had a stripper pole in it looked like the little kids' room. I said, what type of shit? And you know what instantly came to my mind? Go back a few seasons. No, go back way in the beginning of Keeping Up with the Kardashians when Kylie and Kendall were like at least 10 years old or some shit, and they was playing around that stripper pole. That's what was going through my mind at that moment. I said, look at this shit. When Brody was supposed to be watching him and all that shit. Yeah, I watched the shit. Don't ask me why. I just do, in the words of my friend Tamika. Uh, she be on Snapchat. I follow them. Don't ask me why. I just do. It cracks me up every time I hear it. But anyway, moving on from that. So, she's getting her feelings, and I understand that you're getting your feelings because not only did she get emotionally attached, she also sent pictures, like naked pictures, and did other stuff, probably sent some videos and stuff, probably playing with a cootie cat and all that shit. You don't do that to people that you ain't met yet. We're not on that level. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. No. If you don't have any intentions on meeting, no. No, fuck that. If you ain't ever FaceTime or whatever, we ain't doing that shit. And still, no. Don't do that shit with a person until you meet them. Fuck all that. Don't do it until you meet them, until you establish that y'all gonna be in that relationship, okay? No. Cause ain't no telling what they gonna do, especially somebody that's long distance and they know damn well they not gonna meet you. Ain't no telling what they gonna do with y'all shit, okay? All of a sudden you're gonna wake up and you see your ass, your bare naked ass and your cootie just spread wide open all over the internet, and it's just gonna be a mess. It's gonna be a mess. And she got kids, she should know better. Okay? So but mama gotta get hers in too. She doing all of this, and basically she said this other person, this girl named Ursula, hits her up and was like, so you talking to Lucas? I just want to warn you, don't talk to him. He's a scammer. He's been scamming a whole bunch of girls into relationships and getting, their feelings all involved in all this stuff. And so they start talking and stuff like that. They hook up with her and they trying to get her side of the story. Basically the same thing. He was saying that, he didn't live where she lived at. I think she lived in um girl, I can't remember where she lived at, but they live in different parts of the country, okay? And he was willing to move from Missouri out there to her, okay? And next thing you know, she was saying once she found out that he was a catfish. And then she was like, he blocked her. And that's what he do with all the girls, once they find out, or, they question him or something like that, he'll block them. And then I'm looking at Ursula like, girl, first of all, who did your eyebrows? Ursula is so goth, you know. And Steve, Max and Eve was like, are you willing to come down here to Portland, come over here to Portland and meet up with Jamie and y'all compare stories? And that's exactly what they did. Girl, I said, Ursula, did your mama really name you that? Because you really look like you was born under the sea. I am not trying to talk about you, girl, because it's a whole bunch that you can go in on me about. But baby, I got melanin, okay? And I'm just saying, it does not hurt to put some sunscreen on and to sit outside for a few minutes. I'm just saying, you are supposed to get your vitamin D at least 15 minutes, at least a couple of days a week. Okay, I'm just saying, because girl, was it just me? Was it my TV? Was it my eyes? Or did she look white as hell? Like pale white, like she put on white powder all over her body. That's what it looked like. I was like, girl, because she was whiter than Jamie. I said, the hell is going on? Because her hands was the same color. Girl, go sit out in the sun for a second. Just for a second, okay? But other than that, I felt like this was fucked up the way he was doing, because then basically she said when she found out that she was catfish, he blocked her, but before he blocked her, she was able to get a list of all his friends, and basically all the friends that he followed, they're all females, okay? So she contacted everyone that was on that screenshot and told them all this stuff. This is how she hooked up with Jamie. And I said, you better go on here. I said, y'all coming together trying to use y'all nuggets, instead of just looking stupid. I mean, y'all do look a little stupid, but it ain't is it your fault? It's your fault for sending them pictures, okay? In this day and age, even though we know about catfish, at least y'all realized that y'all was catfish before y'all came on the show. I'm gonna give you credit on that one. But the fact that you still got catfish, girls. But anyway, so and they discussing all this stuff. They go do what they supposed to do, trying to find out who he is. Come to find out, they use the phone number. The phone number comes back to this Missouri number, okay, this Missouri address or whatever. And a guy named Zach has no picture. So they was going on Facebook trying to look up all these profiles and all this stuff or whatever. And all these pictures, these profiles was coming up with no pictures. And then all of a sudden we see one, and it's this guy that has Lord in the back, the singer. And Jamie was like, hold up, stop. I think that's him. How do you know? Because when I was talking on the phone with Lucas, he's always talking about his favorite singer is Lord and all this stuff. And so when Ursula came and they showed them a picture of him, and she was like, I think that's really him because, I seen that before. She opens up her laptop and she finds the picture, and sure enough, it's the same person that's in that picture. Okay, fine. He's a chunky little thing. Look like all you have to do is go hit the gym for like at least 2 months, and on a consistent basis, and, eat some lettuce. Okay, and he'll drop that weight and he'll be fine, at least 20, 30 pounds. You know what I'm saying? It's really not hard to do. So, I just didn't, I wasn't understanding what was really going on. I could not wait to get to the bottom of what was going on, because all of a sudden it comes out that he said that, he's basically catfished 400 girls. And I said, who the fuck has time to make what? 400 girls? 400 girls? So that means you're doing this multiple times a day. You're doing multiple people at multiple times a day. And I say this because later on in the episode, when they confront him, he says he's been doing this for like a year or so. Mind you, it's only 365 days in a year. Like 366 if a leap. So I'm sitting here like, 400, and then you talking to them on a consistent basis that these girls are willing to fall in love with you. I'm just sitting here like, are you serious? Who has the time? You know what it reminds me of? This whole thing reminds me of those who troll on like YouTube or Twitter, or yeah, YouTube and Twitter, and they make fake profiles. That means you have a lot of time on your hand to think of, because not only when you make fake profiles on like YouTube or Twitter, you have to come up with a fake email. So that means you're going to just about, not only do you come up with a fake username, you have to come up with a fake email address. That means you're filling out forms to get new emails all every time you make a new troll account. That's what this, too much fucking time on your hands. That is what this was reminding me of. So they all about to go to Missouri until they get a message from another girl, because Maxine sent out this message basically saying to his whole friend list that, he's a fake. These girls are here. They're part of the scam too. They got scammed by him. They got catfish and all this stuff. All these girls start sending in these videos, and you just see them just saying all this stuff about how, he did this, their name is this, and this, and this, and this. And I was just like, it was a little mind blowing, like, yo, damn. That goes to show, people are gullible, sometimes, and you just have to be careful who you give your information to, because some of these some of these people gave them like private photos and videos, and like I said, you don't know the type of person this man is and what he can really be doing with this stuff. He could be, putting together a DVD to release or whatever, or put on the internet, and you just don't know, a compilation of dumb bitches. That's what he could be doing. You just never know. So another girl popped up. I think her name was Sarah or whatever. It don't really matter. And she said the same thing. She got in contact, or she was talking to somebody named Lucas or whatever. And, she's out there in Dallas. She came out there to Missouri to meet them. And they all confronted him at the same time. I said, power in number. That's what they was like, power in numbers. I said, all right. When Nee sent the text to him after sending a picture, and then said, we know that you're not Lucas. We know that you Zach. And this is the girls, some of the girls that you catfish. We out here in Missouri. It's best that you meet us today. He gonna say, smiley face, cute picture. I said, dude, right then and there told me exactly what I needed to hear. I knew from that moment that it wasn't going to go the way that they thought that it was going to go. Okay? He really don't give a shit. He don't give a shit. Okay? So after that, he was like, I'm at my parents' house this weekend, so you can come over there. That's where you can come meet me. I said, I wish they would have did this in front of his parents or whatever and see what they said. But of course not. When they show up, he comes outside. He trying to explain and be like, I know it's disgusting. I know it's this, and I'm sorry, and all this stuff. And you can just tell by his demeanor that he really didn't mean what he was saying. I'm looking at him and I'm like, he don't give a shit about this. He's really telling y'all what y'all think y'all want to hear. And later on, when they met him again, That's exactly what he said. When they tried to see his phone, his phone to see if he deleted the pictures or whatever, he was trying to scroll like he was trying to delete stuff. Neve said, "No, we can scroll for you, bruh." Took the phone. I said, "Look, Neve gonna get his ass fucked up, okay?" Neve didn't care this time, and I was here for it. Neve nor Max, because he was an asshole, okay? He was an asshole. Took his phone, was going through it and all this stuff. Found, um, a listing of the girls and all this stuff. Basically, how sometimes if you look at these movies or whatever about the dumb jock, and they got the list of the girls that they trying to get, and then they try to grade them as what type of lay they were, ABC. He basically was taking notes behind them, and seeing when they gonna fall in love and all this stuff. And I just said, this is just what he said. It started off as like an experiment to see how many he can get to fall. And this is the beauty of social media and online dating, the wonders of online dating. You never know what's going on. I didn't realize I was hurting anybody and all this stuff. I'm just sitting here like, this is bullshit. And he never really got down to the root problem as to the reason why he was doing all this. Okay? They was like, "Have you ever had your heart broken before?" He was like, "Once or twice." But so why would you do it to somebody else? Like 400 people? That was dumb. Then basically they got nowhere at that point, because Max and Eve was like, "So in order to show that you learn something and you're not gonna do this no more, you gotta show them that, okay? You gotta change and take down your profiles and all this stuff." And then when they was getting ready to leave, he said something smart like, "Have a good day," no, "Have a nice day," or you know "see y'all again," or some shit. It was condescending. Okay, I can't remember what it was, but it was so. Max turned around like, "What did you say?" Max Neat was like, "What did you say?" Now see, you already said we just had this conversation, and then you gonna turn around and you gonna say something like that. You are a little piss ass shithead. Okay, I said, Neve. Woohoo! Okay. Neve was not having it today. Okay. So they was over him. And then they went back to go see him. And he was giving them that same story, trying to make it seem like he was okay. He was sorry or whatever. But he just kept smiling and kind of somewhat smirking and laughing when they was talking. And they was like, "Why are you laughing?" or whatever. He was like, "You want me to tell you the truth? If I want to tell you the truth, sometimes you don't feel sorry for some of the things that you did." And basically that's what it ended up being. And they left out like, it was just stupid. It was just stupid. He didn't care. They didn't have no association with him. He cut his hair later on, and I don't even know what's up with him. He claims that he took down all his social media things because Max and Eve had changed the profile picture, put his real profile picture up there, and changed his profile and said that Lucas is no longer here. It was a scam. This is the real person and all this shit. And he pressed sin on it to, put it up there. But he claims that he's not on social media anymore and all this stuff. And I was like, all right. Y'all tell me how y'all felt about this episode. It was cute for what it was. 400 people? You have no life. You have no fucking life. He probably gained all that weight because he was sitting there at the computer doing this shit all day. You can't tell me no different. But y'all tell me how y'all feel, and I'll see y'all later.